have like a brilliant take on it. I think that a big part of being an artist is if you want to put on a performance where you want to be a sexual person, or even as like a regular ass person, not even as an artist. Like if you want to be sexy and you want to present yourself in almost like what other people would even consider humiliating, that's up to you. Like, I don't know why other people would get mad at what you choose to do to yourself. I'm not going to make like a silly take and be like, men do this too. Like, obviously there's a difference between objectification of men and women. Ironically enough, we were just talking about that. But overall, if I don't know, if a woman wants to fucking put out like a sexy photo shoot, who am I to judge? You know, I'm a feminist, guys. It's just the timing. What does that even mean? What do you mean, the timing? Why is the timing? What is the... She's setting us back? Nah, I agree with this regarding Sabrina Carpenter. Her and Sydney Sweeney are the new wave feminism antichrist in a way that both propagate the conservative views of the role of a woman in our society, such as hypersexuality for the male gaze pleasure and showcasing visual representation of obedience for male validation. Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, I that is what they're doing, but it is also their own personal choice to do so. Like, what? You want to... I don't understand it. Like, the empowerment comes from the decision maker in this circumstance, and the decision maker here is a woman. She is making this decision to sexualize herself or position herself in a submissive manner. I know that no matter what I say, people will say, you're a man, shut the fuck up. And you don't know anything. You're just disgusting. You also, consume sex work, blah, 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 all this stuff. Wait, hold on. God, in my opinion, it's a Monica Lewinsky reference to make commentary on the way women are treated by men and power dynamics, but young people are missing it. Yeah, I don't even know what the actual point, like what she's pointing to here. Like what this is a play on for her. I don't know what the deeper message behind this is, but what I do know is I don't think that she is like I don't think that this is like setting women back or whatever. You know what I mean? If a lady wants to do sexy sub dom play lightly, okay, and put that as her album art, like let her live, let her do that thing. It doesn't have to take away from anybody else. Gen Z is simultaneously very hypersexual and very anti-sexual. Popular music is just as sexual as ever, if not more blatant. But they also make think pieces on everything. I know. You know what I mean? Armenian Labubu goes crazy. Armenian Labubu? What the fuck is an Armenian Labubu? Like, the full scope... Here, if you want to understand where I'm coming from, if ladies want to wear the hijab, great. That's your choice. Have fun. You know what I mean? If ladies want to do submissive play and do like I'm a dog or whatever, and that's what they want to showcase, great. Have fun. I'm a guy. I'm seeing myself out of this conversation. I'm simply existing in society as other people are doing whatever the fuck they want to, and they should be able to. You know? Like, that's a whole ass grown adult, you know? Bro, what does the sub-dom dynamics have to do with the album? It would have been fine if it was the topic of the album, like FKA Twigs. This is just over-sexualization, which the music industry promotes. Yeah. As a Gen Z girly, I think there's a play on being a female dog or being a bitch too. Yeah, I don't even know what the intention behind it was, and I think people are just like reacting to it with incredibly with an incredibly negative lens, because I do think the next generation is weirdly super hyper puritanical, and I think that the reason why Gen Z, especially younger Gen Z, are hyper puritanical is because in the early aughts of 2016 there was like a lot of pro-sex work messaging out there, and Tumblr, I think, did a number on like at least younger millennials, younger faillennials, whose understanding of sex and sexuality and kinks and sex work as well came from Tumblr, and it, I think, swung too hard in one direction, and then there was this inevitable backlash that has come from that, with younger Gen Z looking at all of the hypersexualization and going, "This is gross. I don't like this. I'm overstimulated with this," and that's why you see so many people literally are they take like anti porn positions. Like there's so many Gen Z people that just like despise porn, and they think it's like the devil. They think it's like constantly trying to warp your brain, and they think like any kind of sexualization in media is actually completely unacceptable. And I find it strange that people have this kind of people take this kind of role, people take this kind of position. Is not being anti-sex to say how sex in media portrays women? Oh my God. No, no. I'm not just talking about this in general. I'm talking about like Zoomers that weirdly enough went so hyper woke that they actually ended up flipping back to a puritanical attitude. And that is what is being exhibited right now. It's just like I'm always anti trying to sanitize art in general. Like artistic expression has always been immoral and degenerate. Okay, every new meta in art history comes from people being perverts and degenerates and pushing the boundaries of what was previously considered acceptable. The example I always use is from the Impressionist era of moving away from only showcasing nudity in the form of angels and like religious mythological figures to deliberately drawing prostitutes, right? Sex workers, and drawing women in their naked body. This was seen as like an insanely unacceptable act. They were like, how dare you? How dare you start drawing fucking prostitutes as naked? Like, we're not supposed to see this. Like, but that was moving the needle. That was moving the needle in the direction of a new artistic interpretation, away from just religious mythos and paintings that surrounded like, you know, cherubs or whatever the fuck, to actual real normal human beings, right? So ultimately, I just think that any kind of artistic expression, any kind of demand to sanitize artistic expression is inherently reactionary, and I'm not in favor of it, but you can be if you want to. But my point on it is that I think we place a lot more emphasis on stuff like this because it comes from a place of powerlessness. I experienced the exact same kind of backlash in the 2016 era, where you don't feel like you have any control over your own life. You don't feel like you have any control over the systems. You have no way to demand change and go out there and you protest, but like nothing changes. So then you look to areas where you can actually have at least some semblance of influence. And what are those areas? Your favorite content creator that you can yell at and get an apology out of, or whatever kind of culture you're consuming, whatever kind of content you're consuming. And this is precisely what used to happen all the time with like the woke SJWs and what people understand as cancel culture. it comes from a place of powerlessness. It comes from a place of like hidden recognition of said powerlessness. So you seek out areas where you can enforce your power, where you do actually have some semblance of control. It's a way to try and claw back control over your environment. And I think it's wholly unproductive at the end of the day. It's unproductive because it's not like you're not getting anything out of it. It's not like, Sabrina Carpenter, let's say, people yell at Sabrina Carpenter for this photo, and then next time she just comes out with a fucking nun dress or whatever, or she doesn't put herself in this like in this kind of hypersexualized submissive image. Do you think that this actually plays a formative role in combating misogyny or depictions of women in media in general? I know it's very easy to. I know that the easiest counter to what I'm saying here is to be like, you're a man, you're gross, you're disgusting, you're a pig, and you're horny, and you want to see Sabrina Carpenter in this like servile position because deep down inside you're like a toxic masculine individual who is simply reinforcing the patriarchal constructs that demand that women hypersexualize themselves and objectify themselves. That's not the reason why I'm saying this, okay? You can believe that if you want, and plenty of people will, no matter what happens. And plenty of people are going to take that as their primary takeaway here. But my point is, ultimately, it is utterly meaningless to hyper-focus on stuff like this. And it comes from a place of recognizing your powerlessness. And it is no different than, like, I don't know, yelling at Stephen Colbert for doing a joke that you found to be insensitive or something, or looking for microaggressions or whatever the fuck people used to do back in like 2016. And not only is it unproductive, but it also invokes like a tremendous amount of backlash from reactionary forces. They were going to be there anyway. They were going to do backlash regardless. It's not your fault for chirping, but ultimately this is utterly unproductive regardless of the backlash that it invites from reactionary forces in general. I think it's also like somewhat infantilizing to act as though she had no say in this process, in the decision-making process whatsoever, and that this is not like a grown-ass woman who is deliberately making this choice, but instead is either one, a victim of the exploitative and perverse forces of capital. To a certain degree, everyone is. And so is Sabrina Carpenter, but it's not like, I wouldn't say that this goes above and beyond the normal exploitative constructs that exist. In any case, I feel like I'm not the most knowledgeable of Sabrina Carpenter's background, her history, her performance. I have, however, seen some of her concert performances where she will, bring someone out from the crowd, and there's like a lot of sexy stuff that she does, I think, and some people enjoy that, and I guess people on the outside don't enjoy that, and then they say that's not acceptable, don't do that. But like this, I feel like is in line with the image that she has cultivated for herself, and I guess at the end of the day, my point always is like, let people do whatever they want to do. If they want to be like kind of kinky, they want to be sexy, if they want to sexualize themselves, like whether it is for marketing purposes or not, like there is a line, and I don't think she's crossing it. But then again, I am, once again, a man, and therefore my opinion on this is null and void. I am a man, but the reason why I oftentimes will retaliate against these sorts of demands is because I think censorship and sanitation of art is always bad. Always, 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 always bad. It's always unproductive. It's always reactionary, no matter who is the person that is advocating for it. I think like there are a lot of people I've noticed that advocate for more puritanical, more sanitized versions of art, and they think that they're doing this from a woke, framework, but I think it's not. It's actually not a productive woke framework at all. It's just simply reactionary. Sabrina Carpenter talks to Rolling Stone about her being criticized for the sexual nature of her music. It's always so funny for me when people complain. They're like, all she does is sing about this, but those are the songs you've made popular. Clearly you love sex. You're obsessed with it. She can do whatever she wants, but pretending like it doesn't have an impact on culture is just silly. That's why art is art. You are a pussy. You are not a man. Do you like when women support sexism? You are a cuck. You are not a man. You are a pussy. You are a coward. You are not a man and will never be. Okay. This is like saying I'm short. You know what I mean? I have no problems saying I'm 5'10". You want to know why? Because that fucks you over. If I'm not a man, what are you? You know? Yeah, okay, I'm not a man. What would you be categorized as in that process? Yeah, okay. Like, you think that bothers me? Don't piss me off now. I'll start telling motherfuckers I'm actually 5'10". I'll start telling motherfuckers I'm 5'10". If I'm 5'10", all of a sudden, what are you? Now you're 5'2". Okay? Don't push me. This hurts you more than it hurts me. I promise. Isn't this the whole point? Like, do whatever you want. She's not specifically courting a misogynistic fan base. I know. It's not. She's not. Her fan base is primarily women, but then women will say, well, that's why she bears the responsibility here. Like, she needs to be more careful with the way that with the way that she portrays herself for her fans or female fans. But I don't think there's anything wrong with being sexy. That's my opinion, at least. I obviously also try to be sexy all the time, but I'm a man, so it's obviously different. It's different for women as opposed to men, because objectification is a real harm for women, whereas objectification of men doesn't necessarily impact their careers, or there is no societal expectation that men are only valuable for the way that they present themselves, for their aesthetics and the way that they look, as opposed to patriarchal constructs have dictated that women are only as worth. Women's worth are simply women's worth is simply met on the boundaries of their physical their physically desirable properties. It's fucked up. You know? I think puritanical is an unfair label. She can do whatever she wants. To be fair, I'm Gen Z, but in a society where the pendulum is swinging towards white supremacy and misogyny, where literally every woman ever is naked in every concert album and blonde, skinny, submissive is in, trendy, I fear we should think critically about why women do things like this. I mean, I'm going to ask this with all sincerity, okay? This is a serious question that I have. Do you not like looking sexy? Like, is that not something that you like doing? You know? Is that not a thing that you enjoy? You know, you work out, you diet, summer comes around, you got a fucking beach body, you want to show it off a little bit, you know? You bought a sexy ass two-piece bathing suit, right? Like, that's the thing. Like, people want to appear a certain way. I think we should allow people to do that. Like, it is what it is. No, I'm fat. Well, you can still be sexy and fat. What do you mean? It's more about confidence. It's more about feeling a certain type of way. And I think everybody at the end of the day wants that, right? They want to feel they want to feel hot. They want to be desired. A lot of people do. Please stop. This is such a dude take. Really? Maybe it is. Maybe I'm just totally off base. No, we don't. Stop projecting your gooner shit onto us. What the fuck is this argument? I mean, if it wasn't the case, then there wouldn't be entire industries designed around making you feel sexy and feel hot. The problem in this circumstance is that women get objectified whether they are I mean, regardless of how they appear. Women get objectified regardless. Okay, you try too hard, you're putting on a show, you're objectifying yourself. You don't try at all, what the fuck is wrong with you? Are you sick today? Why didn't you put your makeup on? Is everything all right? It's just like it's misogyny and patriarchy that is the problem. It's not the way that women choose to present themselves that's the issue. You know? That's it. That's why I always tell the men in this community to be fucking normal. Do not, like, that is my number one advice when you are, for example, encountering women in the wild. What do I always tell you? Treat them as though you would treat anybody else, with kindness, empathy, and not simply as objects of desire. You're digging yourself a deeper hole, man? No, I'm not. LB spitting facts. No, he's not. Hassan is correct on this. LB says, please, Hassan, women have always had their agency questioned when it comes to sex and media. Stop doing this. Women can make media about sex without people saying they're appealing to the male gaze. You infantilize women by taking that perspective with any women in media. I agree. No, I do, but I'm a man. So no matter what I say, I'm not only a man, but I'm a man that looks the way I do and carries myself I'm a man who carries himself a certain way. So when I say that, everyone will say, oh, you're being selfish. You're selfishly saying this because you want a goon. You're a pervert. You want to fucking... I know. So listen to men. I am a woman. I know. Lil Bear LB is a woman. But, you know. I'm so confused. You guys are talking like he's saying we try to look sexy for men. Exactly. That was not my point. This is unironically the Jordan Peterson argument, but woke. If you think that, like, if you are a whole ass woman and you think that me as a man is saying women want to look sexy exclusively for men, for the male gaze, you misunderstood my point entirely. That's not my perspective at all. As a matter of fact, it's a perspective that I rail against quite frequently. Remember Jordan Peterson, the top dog of misogyny, the intellectual giant Jordan Peterson, who constantly would say, oh, you put on the rouge to make your cheeks look flushed for the male desires, you harlot. Like, when he used to say shit like that, he just fundamentally misunderstood why women put on makeup or why women dress a certain way. It's not to fulfill the sexual desires of men. Is because they want to fucking look hot and feel confident and feel sexy. That's it. It has nothing to do with men at all. It can in certain instances, but not always, and not for the overwhelming majority of time. And that is not my position at all. So you're fundamentally misunderstanding what I'm saying when I'm talking about, like, being sexy. Don't you want to be sexy? That's not what I mean. I don't mean like be sexy for men. Who gives a fuck about men? Fuck men. You know, this is why what I'm saying is like, this is why my criticism on this issue always revolves around, you're no longer advancing discourse. What do you mean advancing discourse? Your perception of being a girl boss is so male-centered. You sound absolutely insane, bro. Your opinions on women aren't normal amount. Don't let your predominantly male audience convince you otherwise. What? Bro, just stop. You have the red femmes malding. Let's move it. You're right, by the way. Yeah, I don't. My perception of being a girl boss is so male-centered. what's the female centered version of this? Are you just simply saying like I'm a woman and I hate the Sabrina Carpenter thing, even though she's a woman herself, and you think it's irresponsible that she's using her platform to hypersexualize herself or and present herself as an object of male gaze, a sexual desire, setting women backwards in media? Is that what I should be saying? So basically, it's just like any opinion that you have that I don't maintain is actually always automatically going to be wrong because I'm a man and my opinion is going to be male centric. Is that what it is? Yeah, I just think, let women do whatever the fuck they want. That's my position. That's it.